Alright guys, welcome back to another full self-driving video. Today we're going to do some car parks, see if the car can find its way out of car parks. We're also going to drive to another car park in between getting out of this one. Today we're at Clifford Gardens. Tried to find a bit of a car park that'll be a little bit difficult for the car to get out of. And we just want to see its decision making and see if it can find its way out. Some of these car parks do have a little bit of map data, so that may help it. But yeah, let's get stuck in and see how it goes. Once we leave the car park from here, we're going to head up to Harvey Norman and see how we go there. Got a car pulling out to the right here. The car's waiting for that one, as you can see. Once we pull out, it's got its indicator to the right, so that's a good start because that is the way to get out. So let's see if we can get out of here. It's very, very, very slow in car parks, I've noticed, so hopefully it's not too slow and we hold people up. Let's put the left indicator on to head out. Seems to be the right way. This is where it gets a little bit confused. First left here goes nowhere. Second left goes towards the exit, but it might also go straight. It's decided to go straight as per the map data. Going very, very slow here, which is fine. You're not supposed to do very quick in a car park anyway. I've done this car park a couple of times with full self-driving, and it had gotten confused a couple of times. We didn't know exactly which way to go, though it does seem a little bit more straightforward from that starting position there. So this isn't a very complex car park, which is why I want to head up to Harvey Norman as well and see how it goes trying to get out of there. It's a slightly bigger car park with a little bit more complexity. It's crawling as it can't really see around to the left, so that's fine. Pretty natural. Making its way around. Just needs to go straight and then out to the right and then to the right again to get onto the traffic lights and merge onto the main roads. Indicators up. Perfect. Can't really see to the left. It's a little bit blind, but it did creep out and committed once it realised nothing's there. Got a couple of pedestrians in the way, so the car's slowing down a bit, giving them some time to move. Right indicator still on, that's great. So it looks like it's gonna get out of this car park fine. Again, not a very complex car park. Will it squeeze through this gap here? It's gonna be a little bit conservative. It actually hasn't got its indicator on either. So I think it's gonna pull up a little bit more before it indicates to go left. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, it's pulling left now, it's indicating, perfect. Could have fit through there, but it's okay. The car's trying to do it safely. Can't see as good as a human, but in regards to, I think, depth perception, since there's no ultrasonic sensors or anything like that. Alrighty guys, video stopped recording for some reason. Not sure what happened there. I actually recorded about another 20 minutes and that got cut off. So we're going to try and redo that section of the video. We drove to Harvey Norman car park, but we're going to do that again. See what happens. We're inside of a car park right now at the Nick Scaley Amart section. So I want to watch the car get out of this car park, go around the corner, navigate the other car park. I'm actually going to try and add a stop in here as well. And then see if it can get us out of here. So actually go add stop. Do a bit of a loop so you guys can see what happens. So let's go and remove that one now. Perfect. Just going to straighten the wheel a little bit and press FSD. Decided to go right here, but we've actually got some barriers up here, so let's see what happens with that. Let's realize that it's going to reverse a little bit. It might even just cut across some of these car parks here, which would be interesting. See if it does do that. Thinking. great scenario to test. It is going to go through these car parks. That's fine. It could turn around and go all the way back, but a lot of us would do this as well, so I'm happy with that. A little bit of occlusion to the left here. You can kind of see through it, but not really. Car's coming. Looks like it must have been able to see just as well as I could. Going to drive out of the car park here over a couple of speed bumps. If you were following a lot of the American videos, speed bumps were actually an issue for a little while there. Wouldn't slow for them, but in version 13, slows for those. Perfect, no problems there. I'm really frustrated that my camera stopped recording before because it actually had some really good footage in the Harvey Norman car park being quite busy, a lot of people walking by. So I'm going to give it a bit of a go here because these guys are waiting for us and the car's been a little too cautious. But we had a lot of interesting things happening, cars pulling in and out of everywhere, people walking around. Being that it's a Sunday and it's middle of the day, it's still probably going to be busy when I go back there, but it's just a shame I lost that footage. It's going a little slow here. So it's possibly due to all these lines on the road, which generally mean you're not supposed to go on that on an Australian road. Like, that's line markings usually mean you shouldn't go on that part of the road. So it might have got confused there. Bit of a blind turn here. Nothing coming, perfect. It's gone through there, that's fine. No right turn, so that's fine. It should go left anyway. It's actually come a little too short here. I can't see anything. It needs to go all the way up a little bit more. I'm just going to wait. This car behind me, it's not doing anything, so I'm giving it a bit of acceleration. So it definitely needed to handle that a little bit better than it did. Didn't actually even decide to creep forward a little bit to see if it could see anything else, so that was a bit of a fail. Car parks though, look, it's they're not proper roads. They're usually not mapped very well in map data or at all, so we can't be too harsh on it, but it definitely needed to creep up a bit more to see what was going on there and then decide whether it was going to pull out or wait. I suspect, being such a hot day, that the camera overheated. A little bit of bumper to bumper traffic here. A little bit slower, but that's okay. Very, very busy roundabouts coming up here. So is it going to let this person go? It's being courteous again. Give him a wave. I will find that the car is pretty courteous. If there's a bit of a gap between when the car in front took off and where we are, and if there's someone waiting to the left, it'll actually usually let them in because there's already a gap. Roundabouts are getting quite good. Definitely seem to be getting better over my period of driving on FSD. Seems to be a lot better in the recent week or two. So whether it's actually learning or if it's adapting to Australia a bit better, I'm not so sure how that works, whether it actually needs an update to put improvements or if it will just improve on the fly. Bit of an interesting one here. We've got a big raised speed bump. This one doesn't seem too bad. I've done it before, but it is quite big. Slowed down pretty well for that. On the other side of the road, though, I've had the car try and take me over it at like 20 k's. Bit of a hesitation there. There was a motorbike coming. Made the right call in stopping for him, so that was good. Got a left turn coming up at the lights here to enter us into the Harvey Norman car park. And I've set a specific pin because I want to see if the car will take me all the way through the car park to that pin and then continue the trip on and exit the car park out of the closest exit. So entered the car park really nicely, so that was good. First time I came around here, it actually slowed a little bit here because I wasn't sure if it went left or right, but it did make the decision to go right pretty quick. Doing the same sort of thing here. Going right, wheels turning. It's committed to go right, perfect. Now look on the first entrance or the second entrance here, I'm not too sure. It seems to be depending on where the pins drop, so looks like it's going to go into the second entrance. A little late on the indicating, but that's okay. These entrances and exits are quite narrow, but it's pulling through perfectly. We've got some pedestrians here and cars pulling in and out. This car was going to pull out, but now it's waiting, so car's going to decide. I'm going to give it a bit of acceleration to get going. He sort of jolted as though he was going to go, and the car was actually going to let him go, but he doesn't have an indicator on left or right, so I wasn't going to wait there and try and figure out what he wanted to do. Car's ending up going straight through. Almost pulled out onto the wrong side there, but it corrected itself seeing the other car coming. Again, these are kind of narrow areas, so a lot of humans will actually drive in the middle as well. I don't really have any issues with that. It's taken a little bit of a different route compared to the map data, so I'm not exactly sure what it's decided to do there. Might be still thinking. I don't have anyone behind me, car pulling out in the front, so I'm going to wait a little bit and straightened up the wheel. It's going again. Maybe it saw something I didn't, not too sure. I'm going to give it a bit of acceleration, see if it decides what it's going to do. I just saw the map update to take a different way, so let's see if we can go that way. Some of the map data for car parks is not real good, so it really does leave a lot for the car to try and figure out itself. In this area, as you can see, there's a lot of openings and entrances for different parts of the car park, so it can be a little bit more complex. We're on the wrong side here, so I'm going to disengage because that is not where we want to be. That is not where we want to be. Odd, because there are arrows on the ground as well, so I don't know how much that's taking into account. Right. I'm going to actually get it to park, and then we're going to stop and let the car drive from the car park to see how that goes. To get us back around to the starting point, we'll be able to show you a auto park here. Select the car park. It's going to drive up and reverse in. And then when it's done that, I'm going to hit the continue trip button, and hopefully that'll get us going where we need to be. Excellent. Almost a perfect park. Almost a perfect park. Quite good. Almost even on both sides. Okay, we're going to start FSD again and let it take us to the car park that we first started from. It's going to go right here. There's a tow truck in the way. See it navigate around that. I'm going to let it try and work it out. Perfect. There is an exit just to the right here, so we'll see if it gets out of there okay, without confusing itself. I think that's fine. You know, we've got the map data here. It's not too complex. Eventually, we'll do the Grand Central car park, and we'll park in the middle of the. Oh, okay. It's actually going the wrong way here. We should have went left there. It's decided to go right. So let's just see what happens here. Okay, it's going to want to take me out a different exit now, which is okay. Really, it could have just went left there and we would have been out, but that's fine. Let's just see what the car does. And these little improvements, I think, will be a little bit better on version 14 as well. seems to handle car parks and getting out of things a little bit better. So it's just taking us the way we came. So maybe that's a smarter option. I don't know. It's definitely not the quickest option though. A couple of people here that are going to walk around in front. Car moved over for them because couldn't really tell what they were going to do. Stop sign here. It's going through. It's going to wait for these people. Interesting. And they have no idea that the car's driving itself. They thought that I was stopping for them. So that is a smart decision because the cars in front weren't actually making any meaningful movement in position. They're actually sort of stuck for a little bit and stopped at this section here where we are now. So I'd actually decided to let the people walk across because we couldn't really go much further than where we were anyway. So that's good decision making. I like that. Very human like. It's going a little bit slow getting onto this merge here, but we're going to let it do its thing. Now, on the footage that I lost before, it actually turned this corner but put me in the right lane when it should stay in the left. So let's see what it does this time. We'll try again. I want to see if it keeps left because ideally that would be what we'd want to do. A couple cars coming from the right, just the one here, and we're good to go. Oh, there we go. So I was actually about to go into the right lane again, but sort of done a bit tighter of a turn and went into the left this time. So interesting. And I think it's quite interesting how FSD works. I think it makes decisions different every time depending on the situation. So if you've got cars on the right of you, if you've got cars on the left, if there's quite a few in the left lane or the right lane, maybe it decides to go in one over the other. Don't know. Seems to make a decision based on something at the time rather than always staying left, if that makes sense. Like on that turn, I would always stay left personally, but sometimes it decides to go into the right lane and then I'll change back over to the left. Very odd. But again, not really a big deal. So we've got a left turn here. The car is very, very good at standard driving, making turns at lights, stopping for lights, um, stopping for stop signs, stopping at giveaways. That all seems to be perfect. I don't really have any issues with that. The biggest things I think for me are speed control. Roundabouts could probably be a little bit better. Median strips in suburbs. And then sometimes wrong lane selection to get where you need to go. But that could be due to bad map data. So there's a one on Boundary Street and Bridge Street intersection that seems to do it sometimes. Not all the time. It's probably 70% of the time I've noticed that it'll be in the correct lane. And then other times it won't be. It'll be in the right turning lane, and then you actually need to be in the left lane to go straight. So they're probably the few biggest things that I've noticed so far on FSD. Very good through school zones, very good for slowing for pedestrians and letting them cross. That sort of stuff I don't have any issues with, really. Never had to disengage in those areas, which is great because that's where you really want to be. The car needs to be really safe, especially around children and pedestrians. So very, very good. I think they've pretty well perfected that. It's just the nuances of parking and the car finding its way out of situations like car parks, multi-level car parks, that sort of stuff, which really need to be improved on. So let's see how we go entering this car park, because again, it's quite of a narrow and interesting entrance to get into the Amart side of Nick Scaley. It could have actually turned left at the lights there, but the map data is leading it a little bit further up here to get into this second entrance. So now it is a little bit confusing and hard to see what's going up ahead. Even as a human, if I didn't know this area, I'd be like, where was that turn? So I think that's why the car's slowing down quite a bit for that. Let's make sure it stays on the left side here in our side of the line. Perfect. First time I came in here, I actually went a bit wide and went onto the right side just a little bit. Now we need to turn left here. Didn't indicate for that last time. Doesn't seem to be doing it again. These people think I'm going straight, so I'm going to put the indicator on just to help that, because we all know car parks aren't perfect, but really wanted to test the car and see what it decided to do in its current state of what decisions it would make. Will it park? Will it just pull up? That sort of stuff. And it seems that it will just pull up at the moment. It won't actually go and fight a car park yet. But version 14 is supposed to have all of that, so not too long, and hopefully we'll have that same version here. A couple of people crossing the road here with some speed bumps as well. I think the cars said, well, we're pretty much there. You like take over basically. But I'm gonna wait until we get past these people. Give it a bit of acceleration for that to happen. And I'm gonna disengage there. Okay, I think that was pretty good. It could have definitely made its way out of the Harvey Norman car park a lot easier by taking a better route, which was the the navigation's route was fine, but it decided to go right instead of left, and then of course it had to reroute because of that. So it definitely could have gone a bit better than that. But these are things that I think we'll see improved in version 14. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, guys, hit the subscribe button, leave us some comments. If you want us to try any area in particular, let us know, or if you want to try any certain situations that you can think of, please let us know, and we'll do our best to give it a go in a video.